The women's health industry is finally evolving because
Women matter.
investor interest in women's health is growing thanks to
Women make up half the market. It's time to pay attention.
the next big breakthrough in women's wellness will come from
RenewRx.
Hello everyone, MedTech World here from the MedTech Conference by AdvaMed. I have the pleasure to be with Kari Cao. She is the CEO of RenewRx. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start by putting the context of what is your solution and what are you doing in the MedTech space.
So I like to start by asking a question. Do you remember when you used MapQuest or you printed out a map and you got in your car and you tried to figure out where you're going to go?
Yes.
Yes. And then GPS came out and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Now I actually have, when the road is closed, I know where to go, or maybe I need to make a detour. So life happens, right? And you have to change your direction. So the idea is that in medical care today, it's giving patients that current medical care is really giving patients that, like, here's your destination where I want you to go. I don't know how you're going to get there. That's kind of up to you as the patient, but I want you to be healthy and exercise. And the patient goes back to their real life and they're like, how do I do this? These are all the challenges that I'm facing. So we are that GPS that's integrated into the medical care, seeing what a patient is having to deal with, their social determinants of health, their living situation, where's the nearest grocery store, what is their food preference, what is their cultural values, different things that are implemented into their custom program, and then using their own biometric sensors. So right now a continuous glucose monitor, AI food tracking to see what's working for them and what's not. And then we are integrated into their care and bringing fully reimbursable services to the medical provider.
Amazing. Oh, so before we dive deep into this solution, we're gonna play a game, okay? An icebreaker. I'm gonna give you some sentences. You're gonna complete the sentence, okay? This is all around women's health, okay? So let's start. The women's health industry is finally evolving because
Women matter.
investor interest in women's health is growing thanks to
Women make up half the market. It's time to pay attention.
the next big breakthrough in women's wellness will come from
RenewRx.
the real progress in women's care will happen when
More research is done to really prove that what we're doing works for women.
now let's put our eyes in RenewRx. So why did you find the need to find a solution to this? What sparks this idea?
So I've been a clinician for over a decade. I had 1,200 patients, 15 minutes per patient to make a difference. And I had to cut corners. I couldn't give them the care that I really wanted to, and I felt like I was failing all the time. And so when I had an hour to go into a patient's home, that is the moment that I really saw eyes open, that suddenly there's so much more that's happening to prevent the patient from actually being able to achieve what they need. And then when COVID hit and I was furloughed, I wasn't able to work in patients' homes anymore. So I went back to school. I became a professionally trained chef with a nutritional focus and wanted to find a way to truly integrate culinary medicine and bring that to the masses. And I realized that it's not just about nutrition, it's about habit creation. And that's ultimately what created RenewRx, was this behavior change platform to support patients and their clinicians.
Indeed. How is the pace? So one of the conversations we had today is when the patient is included in the whole development of the product, the medical device or the service. How did you put the patient as the center in your project?
Yeah. So our mission, RenewRx, is the idea is like renewing the joys of prenatal care for both patients and their care team. So really putting both the patient in the driver's seat as well as the medical provider. So for the patient app, it was first just beta testing to see, is this something that both patients want and medical providers want before we even developed an app? Just the coaching, is that something that would be helpful? And we had 13 patients, one medical provider, and 90% of those patients were requesting to move forward and continue with this beyond just that beta period. So we knew we had something. And then it was more, okay, well, how do we take an app and really design it around the patient? So just constantly asking for feedback. Anytime that there was a snafu, getting patients on the phone to say, what are the things that you're not liking? How can we improve this? And the benefit is that we have coaches that are working with them and continuing along the care. So they're really able to hear the frustrations they have, not just with what we're designing and what we're building, but more importantly with the disease condition itself. So starting with diabetes as the biggest pain point for both patients and clinicians, and then we'll be moving on beyond that.
Yeah. Data is one of the most important tools in innovation and technology. How are you including this in the whole strategy?
Yeah. So we always like to say that information is cheap, attention is expensive. And giving a clinician a ton of data to then have them interpret and then figure out what is the next step to do is overwhelming. You're already with so many patients, you're running behind. I remember I knew the janitorial staff so well because I would be at the office until 9 o'clock because I would be going through just so much and caring for my patients, and I know I'm not alone. And as a patient, seeing kind of these numbers and you're like, well, what do I do? How do I make this actually actionable? That's really where we come in and we say, okay, things are not looking good, but here's where we go. Here's how we change this based on you, based on your life. Here are snacks that would help your blood sugar be more stable, and they're on sale at this grocery store.
Indeed. What makes different your app, your solution to others, and why investors should put their eyes on you?
Yeah. So women's health is now becoming a more crowded space. And that's amazing because we want so much investment to go into women's health. The challenge really is that, one, no one's really working hand in hand with the medical provider. So there's these separate silos that a patient's like, I want support. They maybe go see a dietitian, and the dietitian isn't actually working in conjunction with their medical care team. It's just these separate silos. So we are that link. So if they're working with a dietitian and the dietitian is saying, these are the things that I want that patient to do, we are here's how you do it. And then for the medical provider, the same thing. We're bringing the information from the patient to them very easily. And where we really are unique is this whole habit creation and execution. And more importantly, when something's not going right, giving them that support right away, or notifying the medical provider that they need insulin or they need something else because what they're currently doing isn't working. The reason we are an incredible investment is because we fill a huge pain point for medical offices. There's an $8 million cash flow gap because prenatal care reimbursement isn't available till after delivery. So that means that all of the services rendered for an average size practice like mine, we were supporting 100 deliveries a month. You're looking at inability to give these providers extra services that they can provide to their patients, and they're overworked. And so we fill that cash flow gap by now bringing them monthly recurring revenue. We brought hundreds of thousands of dollars to the practices that we're currently working with, and it's incredible. And we have a 70% profit margin that is making it so we are an extremely lucrative opportunity for investment.
Amazing. Why do you think this shift is happening? Investors are putting more attention to women's health, innovation overall making gender equal as well.
So I think FemTech has been something that's been really rising to the top of this consumer-driven desire to have better healthcare and better conditions managed, things kind of in your pocket ultimately of here's your support. And I think that it's time. I'm not positive of the true reason, but I'm excited to learn more.
Indeed. So to finalize our interview, any advice that you would like to give to women, also leaders in the space who are looking into give the jump into innovation and just push the future of healthcare faster?
So I like to equate being an entrepreneur to being a chef. During my final exam, I was pulling out this lasagna out of the oven. It was, bubbling hot, and I suddenly kind of moved my arm a little bit, and it fell apart. And I was like, oh no, I failed. And my teacher came up to me, and she's like, hey, just call it deconstructed lasagna. Like, it's all about pivoting, changing, rather than making it be where everything that you're doing has to be perfect or on this straight line. It's all about what happened and how do you adjust. And for us as a company, we didn't start out to be a women's health platform that starts in pregnancy and continues and stays with patients throughout their life. What I was finding was I wanted to solve a problem of patients not staying compliant, and my biggest frustration was chronic disease and that patients weren't motivated. And what I realized was through the interviews and talking to all of these patients that, one, a patient that's older isn't going to be wanting to be on technology. Two, they're not as motivated. So then it was like taking a step back and thinking, okay, well, what patient population is really motivated? What patient population is on technology? And what patient population wants help yesterday and their clinicians can't give that to them? And then that was like, oh, pregnant women with diabetes.
Well done. You're doing an amazing job, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.